It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David and News Editor Philip Catafamo as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics in Yavapai County that affect all our lives. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. As always, it is great to have you in studio with us today. We are sitting down with the Verde Valley Archaeology Center's Executive Director, Ken Zoll. Ken, welcome back.
Thank you. Good to be here.
And first time in studio, Deputy Executive Director, Monica Buckle. Welcome to studio.
Well, thank you very much. Pleasure.
We have to start with you because you're new. And so we've got to find out who you are and where you're from and what you're all about.
Okay.
And if we approve. No, I'm sure we do. Since Ken picked you, did you pick her?
I did.
You did. You handpicked Monica.
I begged her to come.
Okay, awesome. Well, that's really good to hear then. So what's your background, Monica?
Oh, well, thank you for asking, Paul. First and foremost, I'm just so grateful for this opportunity with the Verde Valley Archaeology Center and to be working directly with Ken. What he's achieved in the past 10 years is so monumental for the archaeology of the region as well as the native peoples of this region. So I just wanted to say that first. My background is in the Native American arts and culture world. I've worked with artists, museums, galleries for the better part of 10 years and promoting artists as well. I'm also a board member with the Mesa Verde Foundation. The Mesa Verde Foundation is a philanthropic partner to Mesa Verde National Park. And Mesa Verde National Park is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and is the ancestral home for the Pueblo people. My tribe is the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma. And though I am part Native through my mother's heritage, I still empathize with the peoples of Arizona in this region, Yavapai, Apache, Hopi, and so many others where we have the same stories and narratives of a post-colonial era.
Did you come searching for Ken for the job, or did Ken find you?
No, it's interesting. Through the work that I've done in the Native arts, I've had so many opportunities within Arizona and Sedona as well. So I was doing research for the Fine Art Museum of Sedona, a museum in its development phase, and was doing regional analysis studies of different organizations within northern Arizona and came across Verde Valley Archaeology Center. My work was always based in Connecticut and New York City, where I lived and worked, and I met Ken roughly maybe 4 or 5 years ago this fall, and we always stayed connected, and I was impressed with every newsletter the center sent out and seeing the development at such a rapid pace. So from the organization I first met 4 or 5 years ago to where we are now, when Ken approached me about this position of Deputy Executive Director, of course.
Right.
Yes, everything aligned, and I just wanted to be further part of this development, and Ken really has a vision, and it's all come to fruition.
It's amazing, isn't it? I know. We're going to talk about you while you're sitting here, Ken. But it's amazing because, yeah, a decade ago, was it that long ago that I had you in and we kind of talked about, and you kind of gave me the background. You told me the story about the ruin that you were at, and there was like a sundial on the wall, and you found a rock where some little person had sat and just kind of watched the weather go by and the day go by and kept track of the calendar. And he's telling his story, and I'm thinking, I haven't had this guy in here before. That's great. And then from that point, we went to, we need to keep our local artifacts here at home. And then you talked about how they've been, shipped all over the world and all over the country. And so the idea was to create our own local archaeology museum center, and sure enough, it's coming to fruition. I was looking at your spring newsletter. You said someone's ready yet, but not quite up on the website yet. But I was looking at the spring one, and yeah, leaps and bounds just by this last spring. So where are we at right now with the museum?
Well, we have closed the current location on Main Street because we're already starting to pack up. We purchased and closed on the building in the Finney Flat area July 29th. That was the building. Most people would be familiar with it as the Verde Valley Medical Center before they moved to and built their current building.
Oh, okay.
So it's in the Basha Shopping Center area, and so that building was for lease. We were looking for bigger space because we're getting more and more collections. We're running out of space. It's getting very uncomfortable, and although they were wanting to lease it, I called them and said, well, we're not interested in leasing. We might be interested in buying. And the owner called me from his home in Hollywood, California, and what are you going to do with this place? You know, and I told him about the museum, whatever, and he realized that, well, gee, a museum there could bring more customers to the rest of my businesses within the shopping center. And so he agreed to sell it. And we got it at a bargain, what they call a bargain price, about $200,000 less than appraised value, and negotiated a few other things. I got about another $50,000, $75,000 off of the purchase price.
Right.
And then we got, because of the generosity of our members over the years, we had enough cash and assets, and then we received from the Paul Dyke Research Foundation of American Indian Culture, they gave us a $500,000 grant in order to purchase the building. And so our mortgage is extremely small for the purchase of this building.
Right.
And so we've been right now working through the U.S. Department of Agriculture to get a loan for renovations. And that's should come through this week, frankly, which then I can sign contracts with the contractors. But through the help of a lot of our volunteers, we've started to work on the interior. We've got rid of the old carpeting, got rid of the old tile. The building, if people remember it as a medical center, it's full of examination rooms, and so they all have sinks, they all have cabinets. We have to get rid of all of those, and so we've been working on that. And the plan right now is to at least do a soft opening Thanksgiving weekend.
Oh wow, that's ambitious.
It is, and you know we will not have all of our exhibits up. But just to let people come in and see the building. It'll be free admission. We won't charge until all the exhibits are up. But people can come in. There'll be 3 or 4 exhibits at least that'll be up. But they'll get to see the building and what our plans are. And like you hear about the automobile industry having problems because they don't have the chips to be able to finish the cars. Same thing is happening with our display cases. They can't get the aluminum in order to build the display cases. So
really?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
So we're talking February, March before we can get some of our display cases.
Okay.
And so because of that, obviously we can't finish a lot of the material. But we're going to get quite a bit done, and at least people will get a vision of what it's going to be. And our meeting room will be ready by then, so we can start to do lectures and classes in January. So it's coming along pretty quick, pretty cool.
And for the art component, we have an upcoming Paul Dyke retrospective slated open to the public February 2022, so this coming February. And we've incorporated contemporary Native artists into the building space, and Ken has arranged for 2 Hopi muralists to come to do some beautiful murals for the public spaces.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
In the lobby, as you come in, up above the doorway, there's a window up high that the sun will come in, and one Hopi artist is going to do a sun image right under the open window sun, and there'll be corn planting on one side and historical scenes on the other side, and then another artist from Prescott is going to do a whole wall mural on Hopi migrations. And so those will be done. So people will get a sense of what it's going to be like when it's totally done. And that was one of my thrills of getting Monica to come on, because every museum has a fine art department. I mean, Museum of Northern Arizona, they all have some art. And we started and had a very small, maybe 5, 6 pieces, and we really wanted to expand it. And so when Monica came out, part tourism, part working as a consultant, and she stopped by to visit, I said, would you like to stay here? You know, I'd really like to expand our art area, and with her indigenous background, we try to be as conscious of the indigenous people as possible and their concerns and issues, but it really helps to have Monica there with that in her blood, and she won't correct me as such, but she'll remind me of certain things that, well, don't forget this and that, and it's like, perfect, I'm glad you're here, kind of thing. So it's worked out great, and so the building is coming along well. We just got a new roof, just finished it, and we're getting our HVAC all modified and corrected and upgraded. So we'll be ready, I think, to at least have a soft opening. Maybe everybody will have to wear hard hats. I don't know.
Hard hats and champagne.
But still, right? But still, it'd be nice to see that by Thanksgiving. Would be fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah. We have to take our first break.
Okay.
All right. Verde Valley Archaeology Center Executive Director Ken Zoll with us today. Also Deputy Executive Director Monica Buckle. Website is verdevalleyarchaeology.org. Phone number is 567-0066. Stick around, Countywide back in just a couple minutes.
Who doesn't dream of home improvements? Perhaps your kitchen, the real living room. Maybe the bathroom, where you bookend your day. Langstrand Contracting is your one-stop shop from tear down to finishing touches. With 35 years of experience, Chris and his team will work with you to match your family's style and budget. Call Langstrand Contracting today for guidance in bringing your vision to life.
Your carpet is the largest air filter in your home, trapping dust, dirt, and germs from the air that your family members breathe, even the furriest ones.
That's why it's important to keep your carpet and tile clean and hygienic with regular cleanings by Zerorez. Zerorez uses state-of-the-art technology and ZR water, not soap or harsh chemicals, so zero residue is left on your home surfaces.
Schedule your appointment today because a clean home is a healthy home. Visit ZerorezNorthernArizona.com.
The mouth is the gateway to the digestive system. Studies indicate a correlation between oral health and full body health. Regular cleanings and checkups can help protect you. New patients are welcome at Arizona Smile Designers in Cottonwood. There's a full smile worth of services all offered under one roof. Whitening and cosmetic to implants and smile reconstruction. Find out more or request an appointment online at azsmiledesigners.com.
Terrifying jobs, high-flying linemen, take 3.
Josh, this is an absolutely terrifying job. Why do you do it?
It's a very demanding job, but very rewarding and exciting.
How much energy are you actually working with up there?
500,000 volts of electricity.
It's definitely not my line of work. Does anything shock you?
Yeah, distracted drivers terrify me.
Welcome back to Countywide. We're sitting down with Verde Valley Archaeology Center. Website is verdevalleyarchaeology.org. Phone number is 567-0066. All right, so we talked about the new building. That's coming along. Now, is this the same building? You were going to build a building.
That's correct.
Is that still happening?
No.
No.
We had been gifted 15 1/4 acres, right, of the land that has a prehistoric pit house village in it, and and that was our plan to build, and we've been going along really well with the Department of Agriculture to get a $5 million loan to build, and then COVID hit. And they put everything on hold for at least 9-10 months. And when they woke up again, they said, wait a minute, since a lot of your revenue is going to be admissions, and during COVID, every museum shut down, if there's another one, your source of revenue will be gone, and you won't be able to pay back the loan. So we're not willing to give you this $5 million anymore. We'll give you maybe 2. Well, you can't build anything for 2, and that's what's caused us to start looking for. They said, but we could give you funding.
That must have been heartbreaking.
It was
for you, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean,
that's really the first roadblock you kind of ran into. I mean, there's probably been others, but that's a big one right there.
That was a total change in direction, and since we were really running out of space, and it would take at least 2 years to build a brand new building with the conditions there are today with lumber and everything else, we looked for a shorter term solution. And that's when this building came up available. And USDA said, well, we will pay for, give you a loan for renovations, as long as it's under $1 million. And so we only really need $500,000 in renovations. So that's coming through probably, like I said, this week. It's already been approved. It's just the paperwork has to go through. So the other interesting part of it, and when we talked to the owner of the building we wanted to buy, and that was appraised at $1.5 million for this building, and he was willing to go down to 1.3. and we had the $500,000 grant from the Paul Dyke Foundation in hand. Where were we going to get the rest of the money? And then the owner said, well, you own land, right? And we said, yeah. And he said, well, land is hot in Camp Verde right now. We'd like to own some land. Would you be willing to trade part of it? Well, 6 acres on the west side of this 15 acres, there's no archaeology at all. It's just part of the lot. And so we basically got almost $600,000 in trade for the 6 acres, which we never paid for anyway. It was a gift anyway. So we have kept the 9 1/4 acres that has all the archaeology. In fact, we're getting a grant in October from Arizona State Parks, and we're going to improve the trail to be wheelchair handicapped accessible. We're adding another little spur to the trail, and we're getting a vault toilet as opposed to the porta potty that we have there now. So we're going to continue to improve the park that remains. And they're building homes on the one side of us. They're building a malting factory on the other side of us. But we're going to keep the park. We're going to keep the trail and preserve the artifacts. So we were a little sad on having to give up some of the land, but it helped us buy this building. And we still have, the future plan is, if we run out of space with the curation area within this current building, we still have at least 2 acres on this 9 acres that has no archaeology on it, that we could build a 10,000 square foot repository to be 3 times the size of what we have even in the new building. So we have future plans possible if we need it to build, but we would only build the repository, which actually symbolically is much nicer. Here you have a prehistoric pit house village, which we're sure there are human remains still in some of the pit houses, and we're going to return remains to that same plot of land. And so symbolically it's significant. And so that's what happened to the land and the building plans. So
in a nutshell, right there. So what didn't work out has worked out in the long run. So the new building is like 11,000 square feet. Is that what I saw in your newsletter?
Just a hair under 11,000, right.
Okay, so is that big enough? Because you're talking about a second building now possibly for 10,000 square feet. So would that be just kind of dedicated to repository alone? Because people find out about you and they're just giving you stuff hand over fist, aren't they?
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
But it's coming in, right?
That's right.
More so than it was.
Yes, Ken does have the Midas touch.
It's not going off to some museum in New York or Chicago or something like that. It's all staying right here. So that's really fantastic.
And we have a pending federal contract for curation purposes that we don't want to talk about yet, but if it happens, it's going to be monumental. And right now, with this building, we'll have a little over, well, close to 3,500 cubic feet of storage space, which is quite a bit. But again, we could run out of that space in 3-5 years. And if we do, that's when we would build just the repository, a much larger facility on the vacant land. And the large repository area that we have now would turn into a big meeting room or lecture room or something like that.
Wow.
So we've got, I guess you would call this phase, the first phase was the little 650 square foot space we had. Then we moved into the 3,300 square foot space. Now we're into 11,000 square foot space. And the future plan is maybe build a whole separate 10,000 square foot repository. So we've got a progression of plans, and I think why we've been successful is we've been able to show progress along the way.
Oh, exactly.
So people give us money and we do something with it, and they can physically see it. Okay,
I'd agree with that.
And it doesn't come to my salary. I've not been paid a penny since I've been working here for 11 years. So it's all goes into the organization and into the buildings, and so I think people see that, recognize it, and then they open their wallets. Because when we said we were buying this building, we did naming rights. People kept telling me, oh, people love to have their name on things. So we put $50,000 if you want your name on the kids' room. Got a check. $50,000 if you'd like your name on the lobby. Got a check. $25,000 for the meeting room. Got a check. $25,000 for the library. Got a check. Oh, $10,000 for the executive director's office. Got a check.
See?
It just keeps happening, and it's because people, I think, see progress and physical things. It's not the fluff of sometimes you worry about.
Picture this, if you will, Ken. This is what we're going to do with the money. We got to take a break.
Bingo.
Verde Valley Archaeology Center is with us this morning. Executive Director Ken Zoll in studio, also Deputy Executive Director Monica Buckle. Website is verdevalleyarchaeology.org, and the phone number is 567-0066. Stick around, Countywide, back in just a couple minutes.
Wow.
Terrifying jobs. Bull Rider, take 2.
Cliff, this seems like a really terrifying job. Why do you do it?
I love protecting the bull riders when they get bucked up.
How big are these bulls?
12 to 2,200 pounds of pure muscle.
You're not cowed by any of this, obviously. Is there anything that scares you?
Yeah, distracted drivers terrify me.
Two things we can count on every year:
a new set of tax rules and great weather here in northern Arizona.
Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, locally owned and operated by Lewis Rice since 1997, is here for you all year long.
Your neighborhood Jackson Hewitt Tax Office will help you in all of your taxing situations.
Electronic filing is always free with your tax preparation at Jackson Hewitt Tax Service.
Get more in return. Call 1-800-234-1040 for an office near you.
The EPA says C&B Construction ranks in the top 1% nationally. C&B Construction invites you to see what energy efficiency and indoor air quality can be. We have won another Department of Energy Innovation Award, and C&B Construction is the only contractor in the country to win 6 consecutive EPA Indoor Air Plus awards. Experience our zero-energy, move-in ready homes at Crossroads at Mingus.
C&B Construction, locally respected, nationally recognized. Find out more at C&B Homes.com.
Award-winning Soundbites Grill is an entertainment restaurant located in Uptown Sedona at the Hyatt Pinion Point Resort. Open for lunch and dinner, featuring fresh fish, all-natural hand-cut beef, even a full vegan menu. Family-friendly, open 11:30 to 9, late dining on Friday and Saturday. Soundbites Grill has some of the best views of the Sedona Red Rocks. Offers world-class entertainment, food, fun, and music.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got just a couple minutes left in the program with the Verde Valley Archaeology Center. More art. We need to talk with Monica some more too. We've got an update on the building, which is great. The garden is still there, and the hiking path is still there, and you're doing more work on that. There's even some farming going on out there with native type crops that would be grown there. What can you add to our show for the last 2 minutes of it?
Sure, of course, Paul. There's so much to say.
I know, right?
But really, we're also here. Our region obviously is a huge tourist mecca. However, we're also here to serve the community. This is why for our new building, we'll have free admission for veterans and active duty service members, and we will also provide free admission for Native Americans as well. So we're also here to serve the community, not just the tourist coming into the region.
Sure.
We have a mission, and what it is to preserve, conserve, and educate the archaeology, the people who inhabited this land for millennia, but also what about their modern day descendants and their voices and their perspectives and their contemporary narratives reflected through their art. So as we are going to expand in this new building and as we evolve, we're going to include all of these contemporary voices that need to be heard just to create this dialogue of discussion. And as mentioned, I hope everyone can circle back to us February 2022 for the Paul Dyke retrospective. We have paintings that encompass his career, personal memorabilia, and it's just been so wonderful collaborating with museums I've consulted in the past, Scottsdale Museum of Art, Tucson Museum of Art, and the generosity of the Dyke Foundation as well to make this retrospective happen. So Ken and I are just excited to opening the doors, and if we have our soft opening Thanksgiving weekend, we still welcome the public, and there's always more to come.
Yeah, definitely more to come. We're out of time, but that's amazing. I knew when you came in that it would be a big deal. And when you sent me the release that Monica had been hired on, I thought, okay, so this is the perfect time to get Ken back in.
Perfect.
And,
thank you.
Meet Monica and introduce you to everybody in the Verde Valley.
Fantastic.
You. All right, that's it. Verde Valley Archaeology Center, leaps and bounds as always. VerdeValleyArchaeology.org is the website. Phone number 567-0066. Thank you so much for watching and listening. This is Countywide, and we'll talk to you again next time.